Plunging your thumbs into ice water would be considered a strange behavior for most people. But if you're a second grader and your teacher just covered one of your thumbs with shortening, it's an excellent learning experience. It's science, and it's fun, and it effectively demonstrates why animals such as otters add a layer of body fat in the winter, and it's just one of the many lessons inspired by the Minnesota Weather Guide Environment Calendar. The Minnesota Weather Guide Environment Calendar is an excellent classroom resource for teachers, going far beyond its simple use as a calendar. It's packed with information that meets the new Minnesota state standards for science education. The calendar also teaches math, language, and writing skills. Taking advantage of these benefits is even easier because the Freshwater Society and the Jeffers Foundation have prepared free, easy-to-use lesson plans that meet the state standards for educational content. The lesson plans are organized by grade and are complete with the subjects taught, the state standard, and the benchmark. Lesson time, materials, and clear directions are included. All have been prepared by teachers in the field and are ready for the real-world classroom.
But as a teacher, I have to tell you, it is so nice to not have a textbook that is 100 pages long to teach something really quick. It's easy to pick it up. It's a great resource.
One state standard requires students to make observations, organize data, and describe patterns in the data. The second grade lesson on phases of the moon perfectly fits this standard. First, the students are introduced to the concept of phases of the moon. The dates on the calendar clearly indicate when these phases will occur each month. Charts, graphs, and explanations between the pages of the calendar provide additional material on this topic. The teacher then has the children prepare their own chart of moon phases with the proper terms for each. The lesson is made more agreeable to students by using vanilla wafers, carefully nibbled by the children, as patterns for their moon charts. Now students are ready to make their own observations. Over the next month, they observe and chart the phases of the moon. With this simple but effective lesson, students gain an early knowledge of observation, data, and patterns. Other lessons have students study Weather Guide calendar images and determine the biomes represented and the relationships between organisms in that biome. The relationships are creatively charted. Finished posters are created by teams and presented to the class. While prepared lessons can provide an easy starting point for teachers, the calendar itself is rich with science information that can be built into daily class routine.
Using the Weather Guide calendar, for me, since I don't have a big background, it provides me with the information that I need as a teacher in a real simplified way so that I can just pull that out and find the things that we're going to be looking for and then explore further if I need to. So each month I take the calendar, which gives monthly changes in nature and things that might be occurring, things that the kids might be seeing, and I take those changes for them to look for and type them up into a little checklist for them. And then using images off the internet and information off the internet, I show them what to be looking for on their hikes and also when they're away from the school grounds, things that they can just be observing in nature. And that way when we go out on our hikes, they're a little bit more focused and interested in the things that they might be looking for.
The actual seed is these little teeny parts right here. They're brown and they hang on to the white stuff. They travel whatever way the wind is blowing. And the one other thing I know about them is that in one pod there's tons and tons of seeds.
The fun thing for me is that every time I teach a lesson and open up the Weather Guide calendar and find things in there is that I learn something along with the students.
Well, first of all, the pictures are fabulous. And I kept thinking there should be a way I could use this in my classroom. And so I just would bring little snippets in between each month. There's such interesting information.
Parents, too, appreciate the impact of the calendar on their children's lives.
They're very, very, very happy that their children are seeing the outside in a more environmentalist way, and that they are noticing things at home that the children are saying, as from recycling just to protecting, being careful with certain things, and just noticing things in their yards that have always been there, but we've opened their eyes to a different way.
The impact of environmental education on our children is long-lasting. Daily habits of observation and appreciation last a lifetime. Whether a teacher uses the prepared lessons available or simply uses the calendar as a source of daily classroom inspiration, the Minnesota Weather Guide Environment Calendar is a valuable asset to any classroom.